Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called How My Clothes Have Changed in Germany. I didn't know that clothes could change depending on the country. Maybe what's available in stores, obviously that's going to be different from country to country. But I don't know if she's talking about the actual clothes that she owned before. I don't know if you can change that, right? It's supposed to be our wardrobe. I don't know. I'm very excited. So let's check it out in comment, like, and subscribe.
How in the world did I make it through college without leggings?
Leggings are pretty popular.
Hey everyone, I'm Donna and you're watching Wanted Adventure Living Abroad. The clothing that I wear has changed, I would say in some ways quite dramatically since moving to Germany.
Okay.
But one of the big reasons for that change is because I lived in South Florida in the US, so I wore a lot of t-shirts, tank tops, tube tops, and t-shirt, tank top, and tube top dresses there. And here in Germany, I wear a lot of long sleeve shirts, sweaters, and the biggest, warmest jackets available.
Of course.
But there are other ways that my style has changed that don't have so much to do with the temperature difference or even the fact that clothing style has changed over the past 9 years, but rather...
Well, I think fashion is cyclical, and I think obviously depends on the trend. So of course, I think your style is going to change throughout the years.
These changes have a lot to do with the influence that living in Germany has had on my style. For one, as I mentioned in the video on useless things that I brought to Europe and basically never needed. In the US, I used to wear high heels quite often. If I was going out for the evening, going to a nice restaurant, celebrating something, there's a good chance that I was probably going to wear a pair of heels. I moved to Europe, brought some of the heels with me, and wore them a grand total of not very many times. In the US, I basically drove everywhere, but now here in Germany, I'm walking or trying to balance on the U-Bahn, not tip over. There are cobblestone streets, which I have enough problems trying to walk on with flat shoes. So yeah, I pretty much don't wear heels anymore, just about ever. And my feet definitely thank me for it. And in the US, if I wasn't wearing heels, I was probably wearing running shoes like this, or maybe some nicer flats, a little bit fancier flats like this. Whereas now I love shoes like this. These little low top casual sneaker shoes. I love them so much. The kinds of pants that I wear has also changed. In the US, pants that get a little wider at the bottom are pretty common. I know that I haven't lived in the US for around 9 years, but the last time I was back, I made a point to look at people's pants. And while, yes, I did notice more skinny pants than when I left the country 9 years ago, I still saw a lot of people in the US wearing pants that got slightly wider at the bottom.
Not in
not just jeans, but also dress pants. So yeah, in the US, all of my pants were like that. They came out wider at the bottom. Whereas
I get what she means,
now I almost exclusively wear skinny jeans and skinny pants. They all come in tight at the opposite. And I also started wearing...
That's strange to me because I think in the US, what's in, I think, is just wider pants. No one wears skinny pants anymore. It's less uncommon. Not anyone, but I think it's just less uncommon.
Pants of different colors. I don't know if this fad swept through the USA too. Whenever I went back to the US, I never noticed anyone wearing colorful pants. And when I lived there, I certainly didn't notice anyone wearing red pants or green pants. But in Germany, they were. Also guys, so everyone was wearing colorful pants, and so I took that on as well, and I started wearing red pants and green pants and blue pants and all different colors of pants. Another big way that my fashion has changed, and yeah, this one does have to do with the weather, but it's such a huge part of my look now, so I want to mention it anyway. Wearing scarves. When I bought my plane ticket to move to Europe 9 years ago, I owned one single scarf. And after my goodbye party in Florida, I owned 3 scarves because one of my friends gave me these 2 scarves as a going away present. Pretty. So then I owned 3. I moved to Europe with 3 scarves. And now I have so many scarves. This is just a tiny
there's
look
so many
at
of
my
them.
scarves. I have so many scarves that I have trouble figuring
I
out
love
how
it.
to organize them all. So if anyone has a clever way of organizing their scarves, please let me know down in the comments. That would be much appreciated by me and Mr. German Man. We don't know what to do with all my scarves. Thank you. And also, the funny thing about scarves is that I've made a few videos wearing one, and then I've seen people commenting in the comments about how they love how I tied the scarf. And I'm honestly so flattered, because when I first moved to Germany, I remember Mr. German Man had to help me tie my scarves because I always made it look like a mess. I had no idea what I was doing. I could just wrap them around my neck a million times. And that was it. That was my only move. Just keep wrapping.
No.
And over time, I just kind of found my own way of tying them. But it definitely was not something that came naturally to me. Another addition to my clothing lineup that did not exist in my wardrobe in Florida: leggings. Oh, now I love leggings. I wear them so much. In Florida, my go-to was jeans, but now it is definitely leggings. I wear them all the time.
It's just more casual.
I don't know how I ever lived without them. They would have been great in college. Leggings. And lastly, the kind of bras that I wear has changed as well. In the US, or at least in South Florida, I grew up feeling like everything in the world around me, TV, ads, billboards, and so much more, it was always telling me, it was screaming in my face, bigger boobs are better. And so in Florida, I wore a lot of push-up bras, and they gave me that look that I wanted, or the look that I felt like I was being told I needed to have. But they were so uncomfortable.
Yeah, you need to be comfortable.
Not right away, but after living in Germany for a little while, I grew to feel more comfortable about not wearing push-up bras.
Yeah.
The whole, your boobs have to be as big as possible sentiment didn't seem to be pushed in my face so much from all angles here in Germany.
That's an interesting perspective.
To me, it felt like in Germany, it was more like, you are who you are. Big boobs, small boobs, whatever. You are who you are, and that's okay. At least that's the feeling that I've gotten here in Germany. So my question for you is, how have your clothes changed over the years? And have you ever experienced a change in wardrobe after moving to a new place? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy these videos, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Thank you. And also a really big thank you so much to our patrons on Patreon who help make these videos possible. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to check out our Patreon page, you can find a link to that down in the description box below. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen. So in Florida, I wore a lot of, and these don't really even technically count as two, I think, because you have to put them together to get any warmth out of them. How did I make
the material. Yeah, this was very interesting. I will say one of the things that struck me was that I believe in things. I don't know if she's in Berlin or she's in whatever city in Germany, but I do believe the way she's speaking about things and talking about clothes, I would assume things are more, obviously colder, that's a given, but they are just more casual, I think. Because if you take into account the whole not wearing heels, I really do believe, I think that's a very European thing. Maybe, and I guess obviously it depends on what women, on the women. Obviously, it's not going to be one size fits all. However, I do think in general, I think European women tend to wear, I think, less heels in general. I believe. Maybe I'm off, or maybe it's just a Germany thing, but I think there are a lot of countries in Europe that do not really, I don't know, they're not that popular. I think it's just because, again, the lifestyle is different. Like she mentioned, it's not about, you love a good pair of heels. However, if you've walked up a few miles in heels, you know that even though sometimes they can be incredibly comfortable, there's still, and especially I think in cobblestone streets, it's a little more, you're going to feel a little bit more, even though you're going to have the most comfortable pair of shoes. The heel is not going to be that big. They're not going to be stilettos. Maybe they have a little platform, or even stilettos. They can be quite comfortable as well. But still, if you have to walk around, you're still going to feel it, just because, again, it's in a natural position of your feet. So even though, yes, these are incredibly comfortable, still, I'm going to feel it if I have to walk around a lot, or if I have to be on my feet for quite a number of hours. And I think that's going to be the case here, because in Europe, I think that's probably, I am going to generalize, and I am going to assume that all throughout Europe is like this. There's a lot, no one, or at least few people own cars, or maybe if they own cars, they're not constantly using them. So they're going to either walk around, or they're going to bike, or they're going to use a subway or a bus. So of course you need to walk around a lot, just because even though, I don't know, the bus station is really close to you, you're still going to have to walk a few blocks until you get to the place you're going. And obviously that applies as well to the subway station and basically anything else. So even though obviously cars, I think, are more comfortable in that sense, of course, if you're used to wearing a lot of heels, if you have to start walking, well, you're going to have to switch them. That's why a lot of people, and I think obviously a lot of women do this, they have sneakers that don't really go with the outfit. You have your sneakers on, or maybe your flat shoes, and you wear them when you're in the subway or when you're walking to the bus. And then when you're getting into the place where you're going, whether that's your office or, I don't know, whatever it is you're going, then you take off those shoes and you put on your pair of heels. I think a lot of women do this. They just have a pair of heels in their purse, and yes, because your feet are going to be killing you. So a lot of women, I think, do this. I think maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just popular in the U.S. But I would assume women in Europe also do this, because they have to walk a lot. So I would assume, well, if they do it in the U.S., I would assume they also do it there. But I don't know. But again, the whole sort of lifestyle thing, I think, really does create a huge impact. But I think in general, the way she's speaking about this, I think it's just, I don't know, it's just more casual. And the whole, I think the bra situation, I think, was very interesting, because she mentioned she felt like she was being bombarded by, you need to have bigger boobs. And obviously that doesn't really apply to a lot of people, a lot of women. They're just, this is what I was born with. But I think probably there's more, I think, of a push of, hey, get surgery, or or again, if you don't want to go getting surgery and permanently alter your body, of course there's push-up bras, there are other things, there's boob tape, there's a lot of things. But I think probably in Europe, and in Germany specifically, because everything's more casual, I think they feel a little less pressure, and it's probably more about come as you are. And if you're flat-chested, it's okay. We don't really care. Maybe that's why, although I will say that this has changed. She felt like the pressure, I think, was on her, because she was being bombarded by a lot of advertisements, in whether that was TV or, I don't know, just whatever you get on the internet or whatever. I think that has changed in recent years. I don't know when exactly she moved from Florida to Germany, but I do believe that in recent years, there's been a lot of campaigns focusing more, and I think that's a very US thing, because again, it probably was that much of a problem. But I think in recent years, there's been this, I think, this shift of, hey, if you are like this, we love you just as we are. You have to love your body, and you don't have to, get surgeries or whatever. But I do think there's been a shift, and that's why I'm wondering when exactly she left, because I think there's been a shift. But I think more is as in, I'm thinking of when you're walking around the mall, for instance, and you're seeing a lot of, the stores and stuff. I think there's just a lot of body positivity that I don't remember. Yeah, I don't think even, I don't know, a few years ago, a number of years ago, I don't think that was that common. But I think in this sort of day and age, I think it's more common to see that. And especially, I think the models that are selling you the bras and stuff, they don't really have, they don't have double D's. It's just, there's everything there's a lot of sizes, which again, it's good, it's inclusivity. Although I will say, I think you should do whatever you want with your body. If you want to get surgery, get surgery. If you don't want to get surgery, don't get surgery. But I think probably the number of people that, even though they get surgery in the US, is probably going to be bigger than in Germany. Again, just because the lifestyle is more about, just relax. We like you natural. You don't have to change anything. Although again, some people want to change stuff, and that's fine as well. I think it's fine if you want to change. It's fine if you don't want to change. But I think that was the most interesting part about this, just because that's really, again, I don't think that kind of advertisements I think appeared or were common in Germany. Again, maybe I am totally off base here, but I don't think those kind of, again, those advertisements of, yeah, this woman with the big boobs was that common over there. I really do not believe this because, again, there's probably a more chilled lifestyle and more relaxed. And of course, the scarves, I think it's really funny as you mentioned at the end, because the scarves were very beautiful. I'm glad to see that she obviously owns a lot of them now. But it is really funny because I was thinking, I think the material is quite flimsy, and I think the scarves that work for particular, I think, weathers, as in, I don't know, sometimes it's really cold, but you're not going to compare them. And I think maybe, yes, well, of course, there are places in the US in which it's really cold. But of course, coming from Florida, you're not going to, you're not going to get any scarves, you're not going to get anything. And you probably have them because, you're traveling, maybe it's a little chilly, some cities are a little chilly in autumn, and those scarves are really gonna cut it. But I don't know, maybe I don't think this will cut it in a German winter. Probably not, because the fabric, I think, looks quite flimsy. It's very pretty, but I don't think this is going to provide a lot of covering. And that's what I would assume. Well, you're gonna, I don't know, maybe for a German, I don't know, not summer, but maybe for a German, maybe autumn, spring, it's nice. But during the winter, absolutely not. You need to get a real sort of big scarf with a lot of insulating material, probably a knit scarf or something. That was really funny because I think, yeah, not all scarves are created equally, just because the material is going to provide more warmth depending on what kind of material it is. And of course, the leggings, I'm surprised that she mentioned that she didn't really, leggings, they weren't really that popular. Because I think, I think leggings are just very popular, I think, in the US. Even now, I think there's just a lot of people, a lot of women wear them, a lot of girls wear them. I think everyone wears them. So it's kind of surprising to me that she mentioned she wasn't used to this. Maybe I think it's just because she lived in Florida, and I think in Florida people wear more sundresses and shorts and skirts. The sort of uncovered legs, and maybe that's why she was not used to leggings. But it's really funny that she mentioned the whole, this would have been so helpful in college. I think I believe the number one, leggings wearers, I think probably in the US and probably in the world, are college. I know it's in college-aged women, or just women that go to college. I think they're just the most popular, I think, type of pant, although they're not really a pant, but I don't know. It's just it's really, really popular. So it surprises me that she mentioned that she wasn't really used to this. But maybe it's a Florida thing. I don't really know. And I think she didn't mention this, but I believe, again, that goes with the casual thing, because I think leggings are just really casual. Obviously, they're more casual than a pair of pants. But I think, and she didn't mention, it's probably also because I think during the winter, you wear sort of the insulated either tights or leggings, because some of them have sort of, this kind of weird, well, not weird, there's just a material that makes it, I think, and it makes your legs warmer, and you don't have the flimsy leggings that you wear when you're working out, because those type of leggings exist as well. But there are sort of leggings that are they're thermal leggings, so maybe that's why she also meant with, you're wearing thermal leggings as a first layer, and then you wear another pair of pants on top of this to withstand that really harsh winter. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm thinking and I am imagining this, but I believe that's really the case. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!